The holidays are here, and so is the perfect way to bless your loved ones. The Crosswalk Holiday Gift Guide has something for everyone on your list. The team at Crosswalk has handpicked the best devotionals, picture books, middle grade fiction, and adult fiction, so that you can spend less time buying and more time giving to those you love most. So stuff these stories into your stockings and celebrate the wonder of reading this Christmas. Want our gift guide? Visit crosswalk.com/gift guide today.
This is Next Steps for Seniors with your host, Wendy Jones. Each week, Wendy brings resources and information to help guide you through those next steps with elderly parents and loved ones. If you have questions or topic suggestions, you can call us at 248-651-5010.
Hello and welcome to Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging. I'm your host, Wendy Jones, and as you all know, our topics vary week to week. And it's really more of a what's the latest and greatest. And I got to tell you, I met this beautiful soul, and her name is Deirdre Mercer. And she is with me today in the studio. How are you, Deirdre?
I'm doing good.
I got to tell you what I love most about you is you're transparent and you're real. You are. You tell it like it is. And she wears her heart. What do they say? You wear your heart on your sleeve?
I think so. Yeah.
But that's what caregivers do.
Yes.
It really is. So
100%.
Deirdre is a caregiver at heart, as well as a passionate advocate, leader, and storyteller. Her journey caring for both aging parents while raising two teenagers and working full-time shaped your personal and professional life, didn't it? And you provide training now for leadership consulting and caregiving organizations really across North America. And you're writing a story collection called The Three Little Words, which we're going to talk about later because it is inspirational. So your mother had dementia, and that's how your journey kind of started. And I would love you just to kind of share a little bit about your journey and when you first identified it as a caregiver.
Yeah, I think the journey started way before I identified as a caregiver, which is interesting enough. But when you look back and you look at your story and you look at your journey, these little things percolate, right? And you start to remember and you recall those moments. And I have been told the story of our family motto since I was as little can be. And I just know that my family, youngest of 7 from an Irish Catholic family, our motto was share and care. And
Share and care.
And that motto came into effect when my mom took a job at Sears department store for Christmas time. She was trying to make a little extra money, make our gifts a little bit more special. Took a part-time job working there. So it was her first return to work. And we had a family meeting. And she said, we now have a motto. It's share and care. So looking back on that as a little girl, being the one they were talking about sharing and caring about, because being the youngest, they really meant who's going to cook Deirdre dinner, who's going to help her with her homework, who's going to put her to bed when mom has to close at 9 o'clock, all of those sorts of things. My grandma got sick when I was in 8th grade and came home suddenly, realizing that cancer was from head to toe in her body. Nobody had any idea. So it was a shakeup. It was a change. And instead of returning home to where she lived independently, she returned home to be with us for those last couple of months. And my mom and dad made arrangements to pull me out of school every day around 12 or 1 o'clock. I finished my homework at home, and I played cards and hung out with my grandma.
Aww.
And so now I realize, that's probably when I first became a caregiver.
So how old were you about during that time?
I was in 8th grade.
8th grade, you said. Okay, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's young.
It was young, but it wasn't caregiving. It wasn't doing anything personal. It wasn't too much. It was just that act of companionship, someone to be home with grandma, make sure she was safe.
Oh.
We played cards. And that's
you
when I started watching General Hospital, which I should not have been watching when I was in 8th grade.
That's hilarious. But the reality is, looking back now, you probably just treasure those moments you got with your grandma.
Oh, my land. Yes, absolutely I do. Absolutely. She was a beautiful soul.
Oh, wow, that's precious. And you still graduated, so you turned out okay.
I did turn out okay. Somehow we figured out how for me to get my homework done. It was only a short couple months, right, because she was super sick. It was Christmas Eve. She went to the hospital. She came home sometime in January, and I think she was gone by March. So it was a very short period of time, but it was a beautiful time.
Affected you all the way till today, till you're sitting right here talking about this, right? Yes. I mean, really, when you think about it, it's incredible.
Changed my life.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what happens when you care for people. There's something really special about it. So talk about your mom's situation.
Yeah. So fast forward many decades later, mom started changing. Things were changing for mom and dad. And it was clear that they needed more support. So,
and were all the kids married, all 7 of you at this point?
Yes, my oldest sister's never been married. She lives locally as well, and provided the lion's share of care for my mom and dad for many years leading up to this change. Right. My other sister, Mary, is a nurse, as you know.
Yes, hi Mary. We love you, Mary.
My sister Mary is a nurse, and so she provided a lot of that emergent or urgent support. So dad fell, someone needs to pick him up. She was going over there. So these things started happening and changing. And so just as the siblings that lived locally, 3 of the 4 girls, and like I said, there were 7 of us, we just started having those conversations about what life needed to look like after. And it actually was my husband who stepped up. I get so emotional. I told you before, my heart leaks out my eyes sometimes. So sometimes I just get a little emotional. But yeah, for him to step up.
Good for him. Well done.
He said, I think they need to come live with us.
Wow.
And I was like,
okay,
you really think that?
Okay, I'm just going to say for all the husbands in the world listening to the program right now, wow, way to be a man. I mean, that's incredible.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. That's awesome.
He's a good egg. He's a good egg.
And so you watched your mom care for, her family, and now you're caring for her because share and care.
Sharing care.
You were taught it at a young age.
Yeah.
So it just was second nature. And what's cool is you married a man that it was second nature for too.
Absolutely.
It doesn't always happen that way. So well done. All right. So you moved him into your home. Tell us about that decision and, the factors that influenced that and how difficult that was.
Yeah, we just meeting with the family, talking about the changes that needed to happen. Scott stepping up and saying, I think we can do this. I think we're the place. Talking with my dad. My dad didn't have dementia. He had other health concerns that were making life more difficult for him. So he was really a part of making that decision as well. But he just wanted to know how much was it going to cost? What did he need to do? Where was he going to go? What was going to happen? And I think he just wanted to feel safe, and he wanted my mom to be safe. So we made that choice, and my siblings gathered around me, and Sharon cared didn't elude any of us. My sister Kathleen came over every single week to take my parents to church.
You needed a schedule,
we
right?
did.
You need routine, and you need a schedule. And it sounds like you were very good at coordinating that.
Yes.
So usually there's a leader in the family or somebody who's like, okay, you do this, you do this, you do this, right? And you guys coordinated that. So it worked.
It did.
And that's good advice, don't you think, to other people right now who might be in that situation where they're caregiving for a loved one and they maybe need a break or...
I think schedules are the most important. Knowing what comes next alleviates demand, if that makes sense. If you can lower that demand and understand what you need for that. And what we needed is we needed breaks. Like you said before, we had 2 teenage children. We needed time with them. We needed time to ourselves. So my sister Mary and her husband John stepped up, and they came over 2 times a week to provide us time to have dinner as a family. I got to leave my house and have dinner with my family, right? Caring for no one. We stayed out just like you would when you have a newborn or you have a babysitter. You want them to stay out long enough for everybody to be to bed. I would say to Mary, can you get mom and dad to bed by 7:30? Because we didn't stay out late, but we just stayed out just long enough to have that break and not have to do that transition, that demand. My other sister came over every Sunday for church to take my mom and dad there, and she also came over 1 weekend a month, which allowed Scott and I time to ourselves.
So what advice would you give to someone who doesn't have all of these siblings that you had?
Yeah, looking at the supports that you can just have around you. Who are your natural supports? Who are supports that you might have an opportunity to pay? What type of insurance do you have? What type of benefits did your parents invest in? What types of things do you have in all these different places? Really investigating everything. We did everything from my dad having been a veteran investigated those benefits. We looked at insurance benefits. We looked at natural supports in our neighborhood. Making good friends with your neighbors is a great thing to do.
Big. No, but it's big.
It's big. It's big. Talk to people.
Neighbors know more than you think they know.
Especially in my neighborhood, right? Everybody's retired
No.
that lives around me.
No, but honestly, though,
Yes.
in all reality, there is somebody out there that cares about you and loves you and is willing to support you. Friends, family, outside resources, and true caregivers that you could hire as well.
Yes. And we had all of those because sometimes it takes the whole mosaic, right, to come together.
Check all of the above.
D, all of the above. We had them.
So we're going to talk about the presence of, professional caregivers and how they affected your family. We only have a minute left in this program before we go to a quick break and come back. Do you want to start that little, what's like the top of mind thing when you think of those professional caregivers?
Saving grace. And the ripple effect that they provided. We thought those caregivers were coming in to provide my mom and dad care, like we were in some sort of silo or we were separate from that. But each and every one of them, and I will name them by name for you, Sue, Celia, Jane, Kimmy, they taught us a lesson. They shared themselves with us, and they provided us support that has been lasting for all these years, now that my mom and dad are even gone.
Well, you're going to make me cry now. Well, and I was blessed, actually, to know your mom and dad.
Yes.
So I know how precious they are and how stinking cute they were together. I mean, just a hoot.
Yes.
And you can't make that up.
No, you can't. They knew each other since the time they were 2 years old.
Oh, see? That's all it takes. All right. You're listening to Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging. We're going to take a quick break and talk about those professional caregivers when we're back in just 1 minute.
This Christmas, give more than just a gift. Give encouragement, inspiration, and joy. In the Crosswalk Holiday Gift Guide, you'll discover a curated collection of meaningful books and devotionals that celebrate faith, family, and the real reason for the season. This Christmas, we invite you to share comfort, quiet, or excitement with each person on your gift list. From beautifully illustrated Bibles and devotionals to novels and picture books, this guide holds the perfect book for every reader, including yourself. So stuff those stories into stockings, wrap collections with care, tuck a book or two into your own nightstand, and join us in celebrating the wonder of reading this Christmas. Explore the Crosswalk Holiday Gift Guide and find something special for everyone on your list. Visit crosswalk.com/gift guide today.
Welcome back to Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging. I am here today with Deirdre, who is an amazing caregiver, and our topic is the ripple effect of caregiving. And yes, we're going to get into some more detail on that now because, we learned her story and your mom took care of her parents, you took care of your parents, and now how the whole caregiving, I love the share and care. If you're just tuning in, their family motto was share and care, which, gosh, I'm just, ours is like make a difference. I mean, everyone's got a little, family motto, but the share and care really stuck through for you, which I think is incredible. So talk to us about the professional caregivers. I know you mentioned their names in the last segment and how it affected your whole family. Yeah,
it was amazing. The demands of having teenagers in your house, active teenagers, right? My kiddos. Scott and I both working full-time, mom and dad now there. Sue brought the gift of clean. Oh, man, she loved to get a floor scrubbed. She loved that house to smell spick and span, right? So I would come home and I would just feel so relaxed because the environment was so great,
so
right?
She cleaned the house while she was
cleaned
watching
the house
them.
while she was caring for my mom and dad, right? You had Kimmy, who just taught us so much about faith and resilience. Kimmy came to work every day while going through cancer treatment. She had no hair. She had to turban up her hair. She was very, very sick some days. All like 90-some pounds of her could get my mom and dad jostled and moved, and just the strength and the grit and the goodness that woman shared with us taught all of us so much. And then there was Jane, who taught us she gave us the gift of her presence, mostly to my mom and dad. She sat with them. She watched Andy Griffin. She thought my dad was funny. She listened to every story. She just truly was a companion for my parents. But then there was Celia, and the lessons that Celia taught us, I didn't really learn until very late in the change. So I told you our whole process has a lot of three-word phrases, right? That I 3 little words that I love so much, and I think that Celia really helped me understand the next step in our journey of trusting the process was because she helped me understand when it was time for my mom and dad to move. My mom and dad had to move out. She confided in me that our daughter was sharing with her, and I share all this with my daughter's permission, some thoughts of anxiousness that she was having, and she was very unsettled, and she considered self-harm was when Celia finally came to us to tell us about Delaney's journey. She was afraid that when she came home from school, there was about an hour and a half where my mom and dad were able to be on their own, and Delaney was the first one home, and she was very, very worried that my parents were going to pass away or something will have happened, and she would have to find them.
She would be the one to find them because she was the first one home. Got it.
She was the first one home. So Celia shared that bravely.
Well, thank goodness,
with
right?
us. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, that sister Mary of mine, this is where you enter the picture, my friend Wendy, she whipped into action. She collaborated with you. You got her visiting places, found the most beautiful, most appropriate place for my mom and dad, and trust the process is my next 3 words, because number 1, the nursing admin at that place was a friend of mine because our boys played hockey together for 15 years, right? And number 2, my dad passed away within a month. And so with Delaney's greatest fear, having my mom and dad pass away in our house, they would have been there.
Would have happened. It would have happened.
So that ripple effect.
Well, and we needed mom in a safe place, and the only way to get
dad
exactly was the 2 of them together. And together, let me tell you, they were just so stinking cute. But yes, and this is exactly so. It all worked exactly. You can't make this stuff up.
Not at all.
This is exactly how it was supposed to work.
100%.
And the peace that you have in your spirit to knowing, thank you to your caregiver who came to you confidentially and said, hey, this is what's happening in your family. So, this is good for all of us to hear because we need to be aware, right? We need to be aware of everyone's emotions and feelings through the process of aging, and everyone's different.
100%. 100%.
And
you're so laser focused on the care for that person. You have to remember to know your limit, right? Know your family's limit. Know when you've given everything you can and you might need more help. And it might look different than what you expected. We thought my mom and dad came there and that would be their last move, right? That's not what my family could do at that time. And we gave out all that we had, and we had to trust, and we had to know our limit.
And thank you for saying that, because I feel like some people feel maybe guilted into staying in that situation when it's not healthy for the family. But what you're saying, and that's why I started this program with, you're very transparent and real, because there may come a time for everybody at some point when it's just too much.
Yeah.
And why are we not letting the professionals do what they do, right? And care for them while we go visit and be the daughter, be the son, hold their hand, have lunch with them, play cards with them like you did with your grandma. I mean, these are moments you can't get back later.
Right.
Helping them in a shower, that's all great. But the reality is sitting in there having a conversation is way more precious to them.
Absolutely. And I learned that from Jane, right? That gift of sitting and watching Andy Griffith and having a conversation. I never felt like I could do that when they were living with me. So being able to go visit and be in that moment with my mom, right, was what we needed. And that little girl, Delaney, she turned around and said she wanted to be where my mom was. So she got a job as a food server there and still became her caregiver.
Of course she did. But she didn't have the anxiety of, are they going to pass on my watch? Which, hello, for any child, for anybody, really.
It was my biggest fear, too, if I'm honest.
Well, and I love and I appreciate that you brought up next steps for seniors, because my team really is incredible, and they love every single stinking senior that we help in the family. So Our goal is to walk alongside you and be on the journey with you and help you. There's like 500 billion places out there. Guess what? They're not all for you. There is a specific place picked out for your loved ones, and we will help you find that. So thank you for mentioning that too.
Oh gosh, absolutely. I mean, I think it was within a week and a half that we knew that there was going to be a move-in date. From the moment that I called my sister and said, we need to make a change, you guys were on it like a bonnet, if I will.
I love your sayings. So tell us about empathy in this whole picture, and how we build it.
Yeah. I'm a huge proponent. I mean, we talk about empathy. I think we think of empathy as like some sort of like adjective that describes how we feel. But this word empathy, it's a verb. This is about knowing, this is about feeling, and this is about acting, right? And so acting with empathy, whether this is in your paid work or if I'm talking to a family member that is along this journey, is really being able to get in touch with something. Maybe I haven't walked a mile in your shoes, but maybe I have some shoes that are just as ragged, right? And maybe I've gone through something else that has tugged on me just as much. If I can feel with you and understand what that sadness, what that stress, what that strain might look like, it's going to change the way I encounter you and the way I make those decisions with you. So I think where empathy comes into play in caregiving, and if we're building a team even at home or a paid support in teams in our work, I think where empathy comes into play is really just looking at it it changes that dynamic. And I think if you look at your caregivers that are coming to you, I mean, I'm on the balcony now looking down at the dance floor, right? I'm not on the dance floor caregiving anymore. I can look at this from a very far away view, and I can recognize that each one of those caregivers was coming to my house with their suitcase as well. And if I could have had a little bit more empathy on the days I was frustrated, right? I would love to take some of those encounters back, because I am transparent. It wasn't always beautiful. The Facebook pictures will tell you otherwise. But it's a messy, messy thing, this caregiving journey, and there's a lot of emotion. So leading first with empathy, I think, is really important.
Good advice. It's very good advice for anyone who's caregiving right now. And what about, what does choose the joy mean to you?
So choose the joy, all these three word phrases that I learned from my mom, and I'll leave you with two things that choose the joy means the most to me. My mom had dementia, right? She was on this long, long journey. There were so many things we could choose to be sad about. There were so many things we didn't have anymore. There were so many moments, so many times when she didn't remember things anymore. But what choose the joy looks like, it looks like 2 inches of snow on April 7th, right? Who in Michigan wants to look out their window and see 2 inches of snow on April 7th?
Nobody in Michigan, that is for darn sure.
So choose the joy looks like waking up, looking out that big picture window and looking over at me and my mom saying, "Oh, it's so beautiful, isn't it?" Right? Yeah. That's choosing the joy. Choosing the joy is looking at those Christmas lights every single night you went to bed, right? That last year that my mom lived with me, I couldn't stand to put the Christmas tree away. I left it up decorated because every night that she went to bed, it was like the first time she saw those Christmas lights. She'd say, "Oh, they're so beautiful, aren't they?" And I'd say, "They are." And she would just stand and stare at them. My favorite picture is from the back, looking at my mom, staring at those Christmas lights. And choose the joy to me is when my dad passed away. Being able to tell my mom that he was in the bathroom, because, I'm not about lying, but I'm all about therapeutic fibs, right? She didn't need to relive that her best friend was gone every single day, 6 times a day, right? So we just were able to tell her that he was in the bathroom or he went to go get something, and she was okay with that. And that's where I found joy in dementia.
Amen. Right? I love this. Thank you for sharing from your heart. And I just want to encourage our listeners, choose the joy. Have a blessed day. You're listening to Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging.
Need a daily spark of hope and direction? Let the Daily Bible app from Salem Media be that spark. This free Android app delivers an uplifting verse each morning, plus reading plans, devotions, and trusted podcasts from leaders like Joyce Meyer and Rick Warren. Prefer to listen instead? The Daily Bible app reads verses, reading plans, and chapters aloud, handy for the headphones moment of your day. Choose from versions like ESV, NIV, KJV, and more, and bookmark favorites to revisit later. Share inspiring messages with loved ones right from the app. Feel God's presence in every notification. Search for Daily Bible app on Google Play and begin your day with hope, purpose, and peace.